Hello everyone, this is Planckera, and welcome to my universe. Now, with sound. Yeah, my computer decided it didn't want to see my microphone again, and it was very upsetting, but I fixed it. So, here we go. Hello there, Blood Bullet. Welcome back. So let's see, last time I finished most of the lighting on Pippa. I looked at it, I think it's pretty good. There's just one small change I want to make. And, you know, it's small enough that I'm really only making it because it's the face, and you don't mess around with the face. The face must be just right, and I wanted to put a little something on her upper lip here, and that's about it, really. Everything else, I think, looks just fine. Oh, no, that's not true. I needed to fix some lighting on the hair, too. But yeah, I wanted to put a little bit on the upper lip here, and then, after that, I think that there is just, like, a little bit of a problem with the lighting on the hair. It's a little bit too much here. I shouldn't have lit it up quite that hard. It's just... The contrast is a little extreme. As much as I like contrast, I do feel that way about it. It's just a bit much. And then I think I'm gonna go do some lighting fixes and stuff on the animals. And then I think it's time to finally start getting into foreground and background stuff. So, I mean, I guess I've already done the foreground, but I'm gonna start doing things like the path, the snow here. I'll probably get that bunny too, just so I can safely do the snow. And go from there. I've got a lot of lighting here I want to fix, though, because I don't really like a lot of the snowman at all, if I'm being honest. Parts of it are okay. And then the deer, I just don't think look very good. So I wanted to fix both of those, but first, I should fix my problems with Pippa's hair. So let's see, exactly how much of this do I want to kill? I do know that there should be no high beams on the hair. I think down here is okay. And I think I'll get rid of the light here too. And I think I might even put just a little bit of shadow there. I'm not going to make it quite as strong as it is like on the face. I'll just have a little bit of lower opacity stuff just going through here. And I'll just very, very gently kind of brush over some of this. It was just sticking out a little bit too much. Just a little bit. You can see I'm being pretty careful. And I'm going to take away just a little bit to make it nice and rim lighty. Ooh. It'll be very nice. It always is. It's always very nice when you can do it right. So I'll just take my eraser, we'll get a little bit of thin light right through here. It's just going to be a tiny, tiny little light. I'm not going to go super hard on it. Just enough to kind of brighten things up and hopefully make things a little bit nicer. I'm going to do the same thing on the strands. I think they're up here though. Where did I put them? There they are. Okay. Just a tiny, tiny bit of erasing. Okay, and I think that's a lot better. It was just too harsh before. Just a little bit too harsh. Okay. So let's see, I'm gonna stare at her for a second, make sure I'm still happy with everything. But yeah, I think so. I do think I'm gonna have to move the mountains around a little bit. You know, as always, one of the nice things about being an artist is, you know, if something in your little universe is not quite right, you can just, you know, grab the mountain and lift it up, and it's fine. It can do whatever you want. So, but that's all I'm really seeing on Pippa specifically. The animals need some work. I actually think this bunny looks good. I think this bunny looks pretty good. These ones are okay. Is there anywhere else I want to put any special shadows or light? I don't think so. I think she's looking all right. Okay, so I'm gonna go and fix up the animals here. I just really don't like how they're lit at all. I don't. Snowman, okay-ish. But animals, no, it's not working for me at all. So let's see. I'm gonna hide the light. I'll keep the atmosphere. I think the atmosphere is okay. Yeah. That layer's fine. It's just a little bit of blue to make things a little bit nicer there. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna fully render this bunny before I get into things. Let's just finish the bunny so that this way all of that stuff will just be done. And then afterwards I can focus on the lighting here. And I think where everything is located up here in the kind of fore and midground here is good. So I think once I have this bunny rendered, I'll be able to just go in and render the snow. I think there might be a tree over here that's... Oh, no. This tree's not. It's only these trees. Okay. Yeah. So once this bunny is done, then I can do the path to the house out there and this big snow pile, and it'll be great. And then I can get the bunny sitting in the snow and just all those nice things that I've been looking forward to. So, yes. If we're lucky, maybe I'll even paint a tree. I was initially planning on doing the background today, but I changed my mind. So now I'm doing this. You know what? It sounds just fine to me. Okay, the swatch isn't in the way, but I don't want to hide it because I want to have access to the colors I'm using in the bunny. So I'm just going to move my tree colors down here a bit. I don't need the foreground bunnies. They are fine. They are great. They're doing all the things that they need to do. So that's all well and good. Okay. Oh, I got a sneeze coming. There we go. Man, just all the things happening there. Am I happy with the size of this bunny? I think you're a little bit big, actually. Because, like, if you look at these two bunnies in relation to each other, this one should be significantly further back, but it's not that much smaller. So I think it's a little bit big. So let's just make him nice and tiny. Really make him look like he's on the back of that hill there. I'm just watching that deer mess around. Have a good time. There we go. Let's see, is there any other weird compositional thing I want to worry about here? I don't know if I really like that deer just poking at the hat like that. So I should probably fix that. I've been meaning to for a while, but I just don't really know where I want to put him. So, you know what? I should figure that out too. Okay, since Pippa's good, I'm gonna collapse her categories. This way I don't have to scroll through it all the time. And now I can go look for the other animals. Where did I put those? Those are trees. We've got some mist. The main snow pile. Where are they there? Okay. I was like, wait, where did I put them? Okay. So let's see. Where do I want this guy to be going? I just want him to be derping around there having a good time, but I don't like his nose pointing directly at the hat. I don't know. It just feels, if you're pardon the pun, a little on the nose. So I kind of want to move him over a little bit, but it's like, I don't think it looks very good here either. Like, the unfinishedness aside, there's just something about right there that's not quite working for me. Right here is way better, but the hat, man. The hat. Just gonna go hide in the snow for a bit. Okay. Okay, I think right here could work. I just need to move the bunny over a little bit, but I can do that. Maybe right about there, and then I can add like a bird or something over there, and they can be playing together, and it'll be very cute. So, you know what? I can get behind that. I'll have to fix the trees in the mountain at some point, but I already knew I was going to have to do that, so it's fine. Let's move the bunny. So, a little bunny here. I think I'm actually going to put its little tail kind of behind the deer here. Okay, I'm gonna have to pull a shenanigan. So let's go do the shenanigans. Alright, so the first thing I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna move him to a different layer. Okay, and then I'm gonna put it down below here. Gonna move him over, so this way he will be behind the deer's leg there just a little. Kind of create that sense of depth, make it clear that since this deer's leg is on top of the bunny here, that'll push the bunny further into the background and make it clear that this deer is further forward. That is one of the easiest ways you can create a little bit of perspective here. So I'll do that, and then I can just merge the layers back together when I want. And you know what? I'm just going to do it right now. This is fine. And I think I'm going to move that back deer over just a little bit more once I find it. Someday, as I keep working with the background layers, I will kind of remember what order that they go in and all that good stuff. So eventually I'll kind of get used to it, just like I did with Pippa. But right now this is new and unfamiliar territory, so I don't actually really know where all these layers are going yet. And where they are. It takes a little bit of time to kind of figure all that out. And I guess I'm cleaning them up a little bit. I say stuff like that a lot because, I don't know, as I start just kind of vocalizing what I'm doing, I start going on autopilot a little bit sometimes. And then I'm just like, oh, okay, I guess I'm doing this part now. I wasn't really expecting that, but here we go. Give him a little tail, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. You know, sometimes it just happens. It's all good. Alright. I'm looking at all the other elements here, and you know, with the lighting off, I do think I like all the rest of the animals. I still have to like do things like render this bird, and I think that bird is also in this group. Yep, sure is. Over there, and it looks like the one in the tree over there is as well. I should probably put those in the background animal group, but you know what? It's fine. I'm not gonna. Oh, congrats. Always a nice little surprise. Okay. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Do I want to wrangle more background while I'm here? Nah, let's render a bunny. Okay. So here's a bunny. I just kind of want to make his ears a little bit cuter. I do not think that they are sufficiently adorable. So very important that I go in and make him just a little bit cuter here. I'm not going to worry about getting the edges smooth for this guy because, as always, I will be making him super fluffy. So the edges don't matter very much. They don't. But I do need to get the general gist of his little head and his little ears to be very, very cute. Because I do think that the ears are a large part of what make rabbits cute. So they must be nice and adorable. Nothing else is acceptable. And I still like the little dot that I have on him. I might put a few more. But I just kind of want to get the shape in first. No, I don't like that. This ear kind of needs to come into his body in order for it to be floppy enough. I kind of feel like its head is tilted the wrong way, though. Maybe a little bit more ear here, then, and a little bit different over there. I can put, like, a little hint of the head coming out right there. And it should work once I put the little dot back on the ear here to help separate it from the rest of the head there. And maybe I'll just put a little thing here too. There we go. We just got a little speckled bunny. There we go. I think that's cute. And the black parts keep him nice and separated from the snow, so this way he's nice and easy to see. But I think that's good, so I'll go ahead and shade it. Hello there, Protox. Welcome back. I'll just go ahead and put in my little shades. Maybe I should have kept them on separate layers, but nah, this is fine. All is well. All is well. A little bit on the back of his neck there, and probably a lot on the back of the head, actually. I think most of this body is going to be shadowed. I am going to keep a little bit out the sides. Kind of like that. Let me go get my dark black again, and we'll put a little bit on the speckled parts. Okay, and there we go. I think that is fine. I'll go plop a little bit of yellow on him. Actually, I probably should have shaded all that with the airbrush, but it's still fine. I might have a slightly harder time, but it's okay. I will make it work. Okay. Now for the best part. We get to make him fluffy. I love making these guys fluffy. It's wonderful. Let's get in there. There's this guy. It's a bunny, so I get to make him like extra fluffy. Hello there, James. Welcome back. And yes, we get to make the fluffy bunny. Very fluffy bunny. Just gonna fluff out those ears so much. And little furry head there. Yeah, and now with a little bit of fluff, there's not even that much yet. It already looks a little bit more like he's glowing. I don't know if I like it. Let me see. I like the glowing. The glowing is fantastic, but I think I made his hair a little bit too wild here. So I'm gonna try to tame it a little bit. Like the ears in particular. They're seriously going out there. Okay. Yeah, that should be fine. A little bit less fluffy around its little feet, but more fluffy around its tummy. I think having a fluffy tummy is an important characteristic of a bunny. So I want to make sure everything is nice and fluffy. Okay, so right now I'm mostly just going around the edge and kind of defining that. And then afterwards, I will go and get the interior parts. That's just how I like to work. But there we go. I think that's good now. So now I can make the little spots and stuff nice and fluffy too. Don't worry, everything will get all blended together. He will just be the fluffiest bunny ever. Honestly, unironically, I do think that he is looking even fluffier than the other bunnies that I drew. So, perhaps he will be the fluffiest bunny ever. At least in this little universe. Okay. So there we go. Got a little bit kind of separating the head from the body there. And Now we can see its little bunny shoulder right there. I'll go ahead and start fluffing out these shadows here. And I'm just going to keep going over things until I'm happy. I think I'm actually going to do the ears before I get into the rest of the body here. And I think it's still clear that he's a little spotted bunny in the ears there. I'm actually kind of glad that I was able to put in little spots like that, so this way is easy to see, easy to separate from the snow, and isn't going to get lost in the snow, and the shape here, I think, I'll even fluff it out a little bit more, makes it look like its ear is in front of its head, so like going towards its face, since we're seeing the back of the head here, and yeah, just adding a little bit of depth that way. And I do want its head to overlap its little leg there a little bit. There's lots of little things you can do to create depth into some sort of perspective. It's not just... Perspective is, in my opinion, not just crazy perspective grids, especially if you're not drawing architecture. Architecture, probably, especially, you know, man-made structures, especially, probably wants a lot of the perspective grid stuff. It's a lot easier, but organic things like bunnies or people or what have you, there's easier ways to create perspective, in my opinion, and a lot of those are simple things, like I created a little bit by making the bunny smaller than the other bunnies on the screen, because now, you know, assuming the bunnies are about the same size, this one just looks farther away. I created a little bit more by putting the deer's leg in front of the bunny. So now you see that the bunny is behind the deer's leg, so we know that the bunny is further away from us. And just small things like that. That's actually very effective for creating a sense of perspective, and requires no grids. That's not to say grids are unnecessary, but I think for a lot of more natural scenes where you don't have buildings, it's maybe overkill. Good to know how to do, especially if you want to draw buildings. Alright. Now I can go back on to getting the lighting right on the rest of the animals. I'll go ahead and do that now, just because I like lighting. Lighting is my favorite. So let's go ahead and make the little deer friends look better, because I don't like them right now. I do not think they look good at all. So the bunnies all look fine, so I'm not going to delete everything, as tempting as it is. Sometimes I do just like to flip the table over and start over, but I don't think I have to. But I do want to kind of start things over a little. I want to fix things up a lot. Like, a lot. 'Cause I don't know, I just don't think they look very good. I don't. I've spent some time thinking about why. And I'm still not quite sure, if I'm being entirely honest, so I'm just gonna poke at it. I have some thoughts of, you know, maybe going a little bit too hard on certain bits of rim light, like I probably have a little bit too much lightness on the bottom of the chin here. I want a little bit, but I think I have a bit too much. And I'm gonna kind of lessen the shadows around the eyes here, and that kind of thing. So, you know what? It's back to me trying things. Snowman, I think, looks mostly okay. There's a few things I want to fix on him. And the reason I say it is that the hat and the snowman are being lit by this group as well. So I do want to make sure I get that. And of course, this bunny was finished just now, so I gotta get the parts where he's all nice and lit up. A little bit on the back here, over here, I think. And of course on his little tiny paw. So all of this, I think, is in the light. A little bit on the back there. And a little bit right through here. And around the back of his head here. Okay, but I think that's good for the bunny until it's time to fluff it up again. And now I can go back to focusing on the deer. Do I feel good about this bird? I think I do, yeah. I just gotta get the deer down. Okay, I think some of it is just a side effect of having never really drawn deer before. So I don't necessarily know how light hits things quite as well as I would in some other things I draw. So, you know, I just gotta kind of figure things out. Get him looking like he actually belongs in this environment, and instead of just looking like a weird transplant from another universe. It's like, no, this deer is from this one, and he must look that way. He must be one with this little scene that I have created. That seems fine. You still look pretty bad. Let's see. Let's poke at the snowman just a little. I just want a little bit more light coming through over here on the top. Over here I think is okay. I'm gonna take back things a little bit here. And I think some of it might be just that I need to add a little bit more texture to the snowman. Not quite sure how I'm gonna do that yet. But, well, it's okay. There will be science. Science is useful. And then I think I also want some of the rocks to be catching just a little bit of light here. I don't think that they need a lot of really bright highlights or anything, but I think I want them to catch just a little bit of light here. Just less so on these ones. This one I don't think I will do any at all. I'm gonna get rid of the foreground because it is covering some things. At some point, I really should go back in and fix the snow, but I just haven't gotten around to it. We'll let this one catch just a little bit of light. And I think I will let your paw catch just a little light, too. Just because paws are cute. And I want them to have some light. Okay. But I think that's good. I do think that for some of these snowy things, I might need to make a very explicit color layer to mess with some stuff. Not sure what that's going to look like yet, but I think I will save that for a little bit further along. Oh yeah, the weird legs I drew. I'll put the foreground back on before I start cleaning things up, but you can tell which part is covered by the foreground. Looking at this just reminds me of that one meme of, you know, the horse in 3 stages of detail of people describing, I typically saw it with games, and the stages of which parts were about the game were good and felt complete and which ones not so much. Looks kind of like that to me. Very silly. Okay. Let's see. No, I think I want more of this ear to be in shadow, actually. I think it'll separate the ears really nicely. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good, actually. Put a little bit more of you in shadow here, and a little bit less of you. Okay, I think the back being in the light makes sense. I'm not going to worry about the parts that are obviously unfinished, because I know for a fact that those are covered up at this point. I'll put just a little bit more light on his head. Because I can. I think it'll look good, so I'll roll with it. At some point, I'm gonna have to fluff all this out. Okay, I think... Yeah, I'm just gonna... No, I don't like it. Okay. I was gonna say I'm gonna lessen the shadow on that leg, but then I tried it and I don't know. I don't think it looked very good, so I'm actually gonna strengthen it. I'm gonna strengthen the shadow on the leg. Incidentally, when I was talking about easy ways to do perspective, this is another easy thing you can do to create a sense of perspective. Put the things in the back, either in more shadow or more similar to the color back there. So like this hair goes further back because it's clearly being lit by the light further back here. Or if you look at the mountains, you know, they start matching the color there a little bit better. That's very useful for scenery. Atmospheric perspective, as it's called, will do a lot to create a sense of depth in your landscapes. Perspective doesn't have to be scary. It's very friendly and very useful. But it's not all math. Only some of it's math. It's okay, math is also very useful. I don't think people should be afraid of it. It's your friend, there to help you see the universe a little bit more objectively. Oh, I have eraser right now. I want a little bit more shadow on the tummy here. Okay, let's go turn on the foreground again. Alright, and before I fluff all this out, I do want to get the light back on. I want to make sure that I actually light things, that I'm not just hallucinating. Because I very well could be. So on the bunny, I really only think that there's going to be some light on its little head here, maybe a little paw. The rest, no. No light here. So like I put a little bit of light on its back in the sense that it's a little bit lighter there, but I don't think that its back is in the bright light here. So only up here I think needs bright light on this little bunny. Which I think was a lot of my mistake with the deer, in that I think I just added a few too many bright lights. The bright light should be more for things directly facing the light. So there shouldn't, like, be a lot of bright lights on the tummy, for example. But there should be a lot on its head here. That is definitely true. There should definitely be a lot on the head here. I like that ear. Look at how much that ear is glowing with just this addition. I mean, the difference. The difference is huge. So pretty. I love light. It's probably why I overdid it last time. And, you know, that's the danger of overdoing it. If you overdo it, you just take away all the dark areas and everything just becomes bright swill, and it's terrible, I tell ya. You gotta be sparing with the lights. You gotta be very careful with them. They are powerful. But that is why there is much responsibility with them. Okay. So yeah, I'm getting the hat too. I think his shadows looked fine, which is why I didn't really mention it when I was working on it before. Let's see, I think your little bunny head is good, right? Yeah, I think so. And I think your little bunny head is good too. Let's brighten up that ear just a little. I think all of this side of you should be bright. But yeah, I didn't mention its shadows because I thought the shadows looked fine. Little bird here. Definitely need some on the tail feathers and on the wing here, which I have already done. I agree with my past self. She knew She knew what to do with this bird. Just not so much with the deer. Overdid it with the deer. And you know what happens? It does. Okay. So now I'll fix up this deer. Once again, I do think that... Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. Oh, shoot. Probably means I just put some bright spots on the dark layer. Should be fine. Mistakes are made sometimes. It's okay. I don't really think I broke anything. I'll go visit the bird just to make sure. But yeah, past self knew what to do, so I don't feel like I have that much to worry about here. Do want to put those little tail feathers in the light, though. There we go. Nice and bright for the little bunny. I'm not going to worry about fixing it because I think it actually looks okay. Even if it was a mistake, it's like I could go back and really fix it, but I honestly do think it looks okay. Anyway, gotta take some bright lights off of the tummy there. I do think I want a couple on the back, just like right here. But nowhere else through there, and I think it's even a little bit much through this part, even though this part is a little bit more directly facing the light. And that's just because the snowman is kind of in the way. So I'm even going to lessen a lot of the bright light on its face. A little bit different compared to the other one. I want a little bit kind of on its snout there. But for the most part, I'm just going to let the lack of shadow color there do a lot of the work in showing where the lights are. But I will put just a little bit on its little snout there. A little bit on the little leg here. Please deselect. Why are you not deselecting? Thank you. Okay. Keyboard shortcuts going rogue, man. Alright. How do I feel about this? I still need to make it fluffy. But how do I feel about the light overall? Seems okay. I'm gonna look away from it for a little while and I'm gonna work on this path. I'm not quite happy with how it's going up the hill at the moment. Right now, I just think it's making this entire area look a little bit flat in ways I'm not quite sure how to describe, but I don't like it, and that's what matters, so... I just don't feel like it's going back. It just feels very flat to me. So, let's see. Where are you, path layer? I don't remember where I put you. There you are. Okay. So I'll go clean that up a little bit. I think mostly it just needs to be narrower back here. And that should help in theory. Let's see. You know, in theory, I'm not entirely sure. I'm just thinking about a path going up a hill and what that looks like. I should probably look up a reference. If I still don't like it, I still don't, so... Cobblestone path going up hill. Let's see. What is it exactly that I want to do here? I do have some options. Okay, so the ones that I really like the looks of actually kind of curve. So I'll do that. I'll make it kind of curve. And then it can just get real thin while it curves. And that does great to send that further into the background. This way we still see the top of the hill, too. So I'm gonna add a little bit more of a curve into here. Okay, no, I think I understand. I think I understand the problem now. Okay, cool. I wasn't entirely sure, but yeah, I think it's the snow. Because the snow is, like, sticking up, right? So we have a path that got plowed somehow, you know, possibly with a snow shovel. And then we have the snow sticking up vertically here. And you can see the shadow there that shows that the snow is much higher up than the path. But I don't do that over here. So the snow does not get to be higher than this. It should be in front of it. So the path should disappear like that. So there we go. Mystery solved. Okay, a lot of that is behind the foreground, so I'm going to put the foreground back on before I clean this up. I do want the edge to be fairly smooth. I will rough it up a little, so this way we have some like snow spilling onto it and stuff. But I want to start from a place of relative smoothness, just so I don't have to clean it up again later. And this way, I can make it as rough as what I feel makes sense, and then I just don't have to think about it again. I will not have to clean it up after adding little bits of snow to things. I'll make the snow a little bit rougher around here. But over here, I'm going to make it a little bit smoother. There we go. I think that's a good shape for a little snow pile there. I think that looks pretty good. And now I can just come down and around. Kind of smooth things out here. And there we go. And technically speaking, although this layer is on top of the snow layer, I do believe that this path, this road, is actually underneath the snow. So I should render out the snow first. Yes, I think that is true. And you know what? It's been bothering me enough for a while now. I think I'm going to go ahead and fix all the snow in the background now. Let's see. Where is my snow layer? Falling snow. That must be you. So I'm just going to delete it. And I'm going to redraw it. And it's really easy to do because I just used the splatter brush. So it'll be no trouble at all. I just need a smaller splatter brush. Because, I don't know, the flakes, all the snowflakes seemed quite large to me. I need to be pressing pretty hard in order to get it to be opaque. Ooh. No, this is too dense. That's way too freaking much. I will have to think about how to fix that, actually. Okay. Yeah, no wonder I made it kind of big. That's very, very dense. Can I just use Starfield instead? No, not really. I mean, I might use Starfield a little bit for the sky, but that's something else entirely. Ooh, that is so dense. That is so much. Okay, I'm just gonna flop it all in, and I'll figure out how to make it a little bit less dense later, because, I don't know, this looks less like a happy snowy afternoon and more like thick blizzard or run for your life. And that's just not what I'm going for. So So I will have to do something about it. But you know what? I have some ideas. So I'm just gonna blanket this entire area with snow. We're gonna go hard on the snow for a little bit. We'll see if I regret this in 5 minutes, but I think I can make it work. Gotta duplicate the layer to make it a little bit more opaque. And yeah, that's still... That's a lot of snow. But now I'm gonna go through with my airbrush and kinda carve through it and lessen it all out a little bit. And hopefully it'll look a little bit more gently falling. Am I succeeding? No, not at all. Okay, let's try again. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Most of the time I do just use a quick splatter brush for snow. Normally it all kind of works out for me. But right now, that's like, holy cow, that is so very dense. Trying some of the other ones, and this is like even worse. Because I don't really want to have to draw all the falling snow. That sounds kind of awful. And but the scene needs it. It needs the snow. I think it's very important. I do think it's very, very important. Okay, let's try something else here. Okay, that's a little better. If I use the eraser to take it back a little, well, it do what I want this time. I don't know, that feels a bit less dense. That feels a bit more like happy snowflakes. Just gently drifting down. Put a little bit less over the house. Okay, I think that's fine. Maybe just a little bit less up here. Okay, I can get behind this. Alright, and that is driving me a little bit less crazy, so let's go back to the foreground snow. I'm pretty sure I have a foreground snow layer. What did I call you? Why did I call you less? Less foreground snow? Okay. Oh, I see. Because I have some on the animal layer. That's right, I totally forgot about that. Oh, that's gonna make things a little inconvenient to fix. Okay. I'll see if I can get away with only fixing the snow that's not on the same layer as the animals. So I'm gonna make my brush really, really big. I'm gonna press really, really hard. On the tablet. Krita, why are you so laggy today? Oh yeah, because I'm painting on the foreground, of course. I always forget. Krita really, really hates my blur filter layers. They're very useful though, so I keep doing it, even though it's a little bit annoying dealing with the lag that inevitably happens because of it. Okay, I'm gonna make it a little smaller now. Get some kind of over there. No, I don't like that. I think I want some more big snow over here. When Krita allows, of course. Okay, and what I think I'm gonna do is I am just gonna add another layer here. And I'm gonna add some bigger snowflakes that are not blurry. A little bit bigger than that, even. I can fix the opacity on that. So they're gonna be very, very sparing. But there's just gonna be some slightly larger snowflakes here. I need to be bigger than that. To give the impression of falling snow in the foreground. And I just felt like the blur was a little bit too much. So I'm going to make it a little bit more opaque, and then I'm going to get rid of the ones that are in annoying locations, like here, for example. And I don't like these two sticking together like that. This one, no thank you. I think the ones on Pippa look good. I don't like the one here. I don't really like the one here or here, for that matter. But I think the one on that spot of her hair is fine. And then all I gotta do is kind of color them a bit. So I'm gonna take the ones that kind of got plopped in the sunny area and make them a bit sunnier. And you know what? I don't like either of these on you. And then I'm going to take the ones in the shadow area and make them a bit more shadowy. I think there's a few more that need to be a bit more sunny, but that's okay. I will cross that bridge when I get there. Okay, and let's see. Yeah, the little one on Pippa there I think needs to be a little bit more shadowy. Okay, I think that's good. Let's take a look. Alright, that's looking nice and snowy. I think I like it. I might need to add some more to the ground, but you know what? I'll shade the ground first before I start worrying about that. But yeah, I think this looks like it's a lot of snow, but I don't think it feels heavy. I'll see how I feel about it in 5 minutes. Let's go back to making the animals fluffy because I like the way they look now. So now I feel like I can fluff them out safely. Very important to make sure that they are nice and fluffy. Oh yeah. So much better already. Look at that fluffy little guy. I guess this guy's more fuzzy. Because I do want to keep the fur on the deer pretty short. Just needs a little bit of floof. Make it look like you just want to pet him. And let me tell you, I do want to pet all these guys. They just look like they're having so much fun. They do. It's fantastic. Okay, are you sufficiently fluffy? I don't think so. Be a little bit fluffier for me. And I mean, I mostly changed the deer, so those are the ones I'm the most worried about. I didn't really change anything on the bunnies. I thought they already looked alright, so I didn't feel the need to change anything. So I'll just add a little bit of fuzziness to this little guy and go from there. Been thinking a lot about compositional stuff lately. I'm kind of starting to get into the parts of art that feel like black magic to me. Like, certain parts, when you're just starting out, are actually really easy, and anyone with eyes can kind of figure out what's wrong. That doesn't mean that it's easy to, like, implement it. Figuring out how to see and how to actually make things look right is quite difficult. But when you look at a picture and you can see that the eyes are different sizes, like that's easy to spot. Just hard to fix. But now I'm getting to the point where, okay, how do I arrange elements? Where do I put things? And that's starting to get into some of the black magic territory. It's not quite as clear as I would like. So it's been interesting. It's okay, I'll be sure to get my summoning circles ready. Perform all of the glorious black magic rituals, so that this way my art will be a little bit better. And I can figure out what's going on. Go to the next level. It'll be great. I accidentally made that nose a little dark. It's alright, let's get some fluff on it. There we go. Top hat. Feels a little more top hatty. Okay, now I can go back to fluffing out the deer. You think so? I feel like this is more of a yellow-nosed reindeer, right? I guess I could make him very Rudolph. I mean, it's pretty easy. Let's do it. So I'll set this layer to like hard light, and then I can grab the airbrush, and we just grab a super duper bright red here. I'll make it a little pink because it's Pippa. Oh yeah. There we go. Alright, now we can make him fuzzy. Okay, that's just what being in the sun does to you. That's why I avoid it at all costs. Okay. Oh yeah, I am liking them much more. When I looked at the picture before stream today, I was like, man, I just don't like them at all. But now I think they're much cuter. They look much more part of the environment to me. So, always worth fixing things like that. I take my lighting very seriously. It's just too much fun. Oh, that sounds incredibly rude. No. These are her animal friends. And besides, she has the bunny on her head. Where am I gonna put a hat? You see, that's the nice thing about fantasy universes like this, especially ones that only exist in a singular illustration, just frozen in time forever, is that, you know, I don't have to think about how Pippa's gonna eat or anything like that. She can just be best friends with the animals forever. There's no need for food. It gets to be idyllic. Just cute and adorable. No need to think through any of the implications. Alright, let's go ahead and touch up the snowman a bit now. And I do want my snowman here to be a little bit more textury too. So I will add some of that as well. Let's see. How do I wish to go about doing this? Okay, I think I have some ideas. I'm gonna start with a little chalk brush here just because it's easy. And then I can go ahead and... Oh, that's right. I am not using my shadow color right now. No, I am not going to shade the snowman with hot pink. Not yet. Maybe later. Unironically. Just because, you know, there's lots of pink in the sunset, and snowmen are... is white, so it'll absorb a lot of color from the surrounding area. I see. What do you want me to call you now? Should I still just call you 11? Because I gotta say, a jumble of letters is a bit of a mouthful. Yes, I am, I did notice when I drew her that I made her a head too tall, but you know what? I was okay with it. So, yes, I agree that she does look a little bit more mature. But you know what? I'm okay with it. I still think it looks pretty good. I kind of had a feeling it was a bus model, yes. But yeah, I wanted her to, you know, just look a little bit more generally happy. It's like I feel like a lot of fan art covers the edgy side of her very, very well. I'd say that's what most fan art of her does. And I just decided I wanted to go for that occasional little spark of wholesomeness we get when she talks about animals, you know? And I just remember occasional bits of talking about things that she likes and all that kind of thing. And so I remembered her talking about if she could pick somewhere to live, somewhere out in like a mountain cabin or something would be pretty cool. And so I'm like, okay, here you go. You get to have a lovely little mountain cabin. And I thought about doing something to make it a little bit edgier, but you know what? No, we're just happy Christmas here. Happy Christmas with cute animal friends. And that's it. No ulterior motives, nothing else going on, just something kind of happy. Honestly, sometimes I think a lot of the girls in Phase Connect could use something of just a little happy. Because I gotta say, everything that's been going on with Jelly lately has been so incredibly wholesome, and I think everyone could use a little bit of that sometimes. It's okay. I have other ideas for Pippa art that is a little bit more in line with what people would normally expect. I'll probably draw them at some point. I just wanted to do this one specifically. Let's bring a little bit of joy into the world around Christmas and Thanksgiving. Okay. There we go. I'm getting a little bit more satisfied with the way the snowman is looking with all this. And then I'll just add a little bit more texture-y stuff over here. So maybe just scrape away a few spots lightly. Very, very, very lightly. And then I actually really did like that other brush I was using, this guy here. I think this one is also very good for snow texture. If you make it small and just kind of drag it. So I'll put a little bit of this out in the light as well. Make it look a little crunchier. Got to put a little bit more reflected light down here too, I think. Just because, snow is white, so it reflects a lot of light. So I just want to get some of that going as well. Okay, let's get this bottom part just a little bit more light here. I'm even going to press a little bit harder. Actually, you know what I should do? If I'm going to do that, I should go back to my chalky brush. And I'm just going to kind of carve away at this. I still want it to be dark, but maybe not as dark as I currently have it. Well, we'll let the ground snow reflect a little bit. And I think that will also help with some of the issues that I'm seeing right now. Have I mentioned that I really, really, really like light? Light is just the most fun to paint. Sometimes I wish I could do it from the very beginning, but no, things get too complicated if I try to handle light and everything else at the same time. So I just prefer to kind of have everything drawn, and then I can go in and just really carve out the light and things. A lot of the time I don't go this hard on texture, but I think it suits this particular drawing that I'm working on at the moment, so I'm rolling with it. Okay, I think it's a little bit too chunky, so I'm gonna run the airbrush over it real quick. There we go. Let me get rid of the selection, see how I feel about things. Yeah, I think that's working. I think that looks a lot better. Okay, I'm gonna bring the selection back on because I still want some stuff in the middle to feel a little bit more texture-y. So I'll still just take this brush here and I'll just plod away at things until I'm satisfied. I don't think I have to do too much more though. And what I think I will actually do for the rest of it is I'm going to grab the light layer, I'm going to grab the light color, and I'm actually going to put some random light spots over just in the dark areas. You gotta be careful with this. This is dangerous technology here. But I think for this specifically, it'll work really, really well. Okay. So I'm going to kind of rough up the edge here. I might grab the chalky brush again, but for now, I think this is doing the trick. There's some nice rough spots through there. I'm going to put a few on the back, but again, it's dangerous. So I got to be real careful. And I'm just going to put a few more random bits of light through all of that. Okay, and that's a little bit too much. So I'm going to take the airbrush, do it again, kind of take it back just a little here. How do I feel? Okay. Same deal with everything I did here. Gotta kind of smooth it out just a little bit. For a more realistic piece, I'd probably keep going and do something like that. But right now, I actually kind of want to take back a little bit of the texture. I think it's just a little bit too much. Picture not realistic enough for this kind of thing. Don't get me wrong, I definitely did it. I did the right thing, and it helped a lot. But now it's just time to get it in the right proportion, right? Just gotta poke at it until it's all good. I think there's a few more birds, it's just most of them are in the background. So like we got the big one up here, we got the little one there, there's another one over here, then there's all these ones in the back. Then we got the bunnies. But yeah, I might add some more. I haven't decided. I have not decided. And then, of course, you know, there's the two bunnies in the foreground here. So how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Then there's a little bird here. Okay, I think the snowman is working now. I think I'm happy with it. So now I can go and actually render out the snow on the ground. Exciting. If I'm lucky, maybe I will draw some trees today. We'll see. Okay. Right, because this is the snow colors. So I probably want that one. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna try to keep the... Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I am gonna move my snow colors to another layer so that this way... Why do you not wish me to cut to another layer? There we are. Okay. So that this way I can keep all those on screen, and then I can mess around with the colors that way. Because I do want quite a few colors on the snow itself. And unlike the rest of this, I think I'm gonna try to get the snow exactly as it should be without any additional filter layers. And the path as well. I don't think I need those there. It is simple enough. So... Alright, here we go. I'm just thinking about how to approach this. Okay, so I already know that I want this part to be, like, really bright. Are you not the snow pile? You are the snow pile, so I guess you are already really bright. Okay, fair enough. So let's get some of the sun on it here. Gonna go really hard on it in the back there, just because I think that's where the sun is really, really shining. I don't think I need any of the sun just over there. And you know what? I'm gonna go put in some sky colors before I start adding the shades. So that'll be kind of like this. Gonna go much lighter on the pink. And you know what? I want a little bit more sun color over here. So let's get all the sky stuff in there. See, this is what I want to do with the snowman later. I just haven't figured out exactly how I want to do it yet. And I think that coloring the snow now will probably help. Because, frankly, this is easier to understand. Lots of purple in some of the dark areas. Okay. And I'll texturize that later. This will definitely not be texturized like the snowman. It's going to be much more subtle. Because it is further away. When you are viewing things further away, you don't see all the details. And adding too many details will actually make it look closer than it should be, and that's just no good. Okay. So we have Pippa's shadow here, along with some of the shadows of the bunnies. Let's see, I think I want this to come a little further up here. I don't know, this is really gray. I kind of don't like it. Yeah, I think I want my more purpley colors, so... I will pull this section off of the swatch, too. Just so I don't have to have all the other colors there messing me up. Yeah, it's a little bit too gray. I don't like it. I definitely see what I was going for at first, but I don't like it anymore. I have changed my mind and these things happen. So I'll grab the more purpley one. Yeah, that looks nicer, actually. I might bring in some of those gray colors as needed, but now is not the time. Or the place for them. And I'm gonna keep it pretty uneven, just to, you know, have some random holes and stuff in there, and I'll probably add some little, like, the little bunny footprints here and there, like, you know, like that. That kind of thing. Not yet, but eventually. First things first, I gotta block in the basics. So now I'm gonna get the shadow of the snowman in here. Okay, and then the deer, we're gonna have little shadows here, a little bit of shadow from the bunny there. And the sun is really low in the sky, so the shadows will be really long. Just really, really, really long. And in fact, I think this should go more this way. Yes, yes they should. So we're going to have very, very long shadows. So bunny head here, probably going to have a shadow kind of like this. And it's fine if I'm not thorough in the coloring, because, like, watch, if I do it like this, add just some random light spots, it actually looks a little bit more like snow. Okay, and the shadow from this deer is not going to be cast onto the hill because he is far away. He's way out there. And this is a hill, so the shadow is going to be like on the back side of the hill, the side that we don't see. So this is all right so far. Okay. So I'm going to take some of these darker colors here and plop in some dark spots where the animals are touching the snow. And where Pippa's feet is touching the snow. And don't worry, I'll put some snow on top of, like, Pippa's shoes here, on top of the bunnies. I've done that a little bit. I'm gonna do more. But I kind of want to get everything colored the way I want before I start doing stuff like that. I still kind of like this purple. So I think I'm gonna keep it. Oh, I see. No, you are the gray. Okay. So you are this color, actually. So I'll make you this color. Yeah, that works. And then at some point, this shadow color here should become, or rather, it should go away entirely when we stop seeing the side of that snow pile. So kind of like this. And you, I think, still looks pretty good. Yeah, so you're this color. Okay. Yeah, sure, we can keep some of that color. It looks good. So I'll keep it. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is I want to get the snow spilling out onto the path here. I mean, I'm even going to do that before I texturize the path. So all I need to do is kind of just erase little bits of the snow of the path here, and that'll have the effect of having a bit of snow on it. But I think I want to do it with the airbrush, so it's not quite so hard. I'm gonna hide the foreground for just a bit here, just get little chunks of snow on there. Let some kind of spill out onto it. Make it so this way these little piles aren't quite so perfect. This one I think can't afford to be a little bit more perfect. So I won't adjust that. I will adjust this side, though. And I'll leave it a little bit blurry until the foreground is on. I just want to get an idea of where I'm putting some of this snow here. I think that's what's important here. And then maybe just some tiny little ones kind of coming out through here. It needs to look natural. And it just doesn't look natural if everything is too clean and perfect. Because that's just not how the world works. There are more states in chaos than there are not. And that is a mathematical fact. There are more permutations that result in chaos than order. That's why... That's why nothing stays neat for very long. Okay. And I'm actually gonna go back to my snow pile here and kind of do the same around the edge here. But I think for this one... No. I want to do it with the airbrush. I was wondering if I wanted to do it with my chalky brush, but no, I think I actually do want to do it with the airbrush. I do not want it to look detailed. I just want it to look a little bit less perfect. A little bit more bumpy. So I'll go back and forth over it a little bit. Maybe I do want the chalky brush. You know what? Let's give it a try. I thought about it. I changed my mind. Let's try it. If I don't like it, I will fix it. Oh, you're an eraser right now. Okay, now this is working. I'll use the chalky brush. It leaves a little bit of a snowy edge that I kind of like. Okay, I'm still not gonna go into rendering out everything yet, I don't think. Let's see, is there anything else that I feel like this needs? It's amazing how big of a difference just shading the ground can make. Everything feels a little bit more in the universe now, and I'm pleased. Okay, it has nothing to do with the snow, but I want to get a little bit of the falling snow. It needs to be sunnier in a few places. Right now, it's just not quite right. And I want a little bit more of these sky colors in there and just the sun doing sun things and being very nice. Alright. Then maybe a little bit of darkness out over in the corners. Maybe a little bit of pink in some of this. Just a little bit. I don't want to overdo it, of course. But we can get a little bit of pink and purple in there. Don't let your eyes trick you. Very few of the things that you see as white are actually white if you color pick them. White is wily like that. It takes the colors of everything around it. It is the ultimate chameleon. Black is the opposite. Black is basically always black. It knows exactly what it is. And it is not afraid to assert itself. Alright, where's my mid-ground snow? Here you are. I want some pink in you too. Some pink and yellow. Kind of going out to some of these places. I felt like the snow was just a little bit too white in some places, and it wasn't working for me. Too dark. How about you? Get a little bit of purple in the snow over here. And I think I will lessen some of it just right over the clouds there. At some point I'll have to go in and draw those clouds, but you know what? That can be for future me. That'll probably be like the last thing I do. Kind of same vein as what I did with Rooney there, where I did indeed just largely save the clouds for the very end. Clouds are, you know, just a little bit of extra spice. They're not really needed for a long time. Okay. So let's see what we got here. What else would I like to do? I think I want a little bit more of a dark spot around this little bunny here. Yeah, there we go. He has much more presence now. Let's see. You know, I swear, it's like the moment I add the lighting, everything just feels so much better. Yeah, that's why I just wait and make sure that I can see the promise in the image, and then I just kind of believe that at some point, everything's just going to come together. As long as I see that little bit of promise. And I'm rarely wrong. Because, like, man, I had so many issues with this picture for a long time. I didn't always vocalize them because I was pretty sure that it would be fine later. And yeah, I think it's fine now. It's working for me now. I kind of want to add a little bit of light gradation here because I think it'll be nice. Okay, and I think before I go out and render out the snow here, I think all the colors are looking good. Maybe except for, like, right here. I need to kind of straighten out some of this, but I don't care if these dark colors are realistic or not. I just don't want this area of the picture to be calling a lot of attention to itself. Anyway, where was I? Yeah. Before I render out the snow, I'm going to put the texture on the little path here. It won't take that long because it's all very, very simple. Just gonna add a few light chunks here and there. But yeah, it'll be very simple because it's pretty much completely covered up by foreground. And I'm not gonna get rid of the foreground to draw it because that sounds like a good way to make everything take way longer than it needs to. So let's not do that. I don't even think I picked proper colors for this. And you know what, frankly, I don't think I need to. No, I don't think I can do this entirely with just a multiply brush. Okay. I better pick colors then. I shouldn't be that lazy. Alright. So I'll go hide that so I can get the cobblestone color and plop that onto my shiny swatch here. We'll just stick it up there. And now I can set a layer to multiply. I think I like how dark it is. I don't think I want to change it. So I'll just grab a nice little color here. I think I like that color. And then, so cobblestone kind of has some grouting. So even besides the shadow color, I also need a color for the stuff in between it. So what color do I want that to be? Let me go look at some references here. I think I can just kind of use dirt adjacent color. Yeah. So somewhere in a dark brown. No, it sounds good to me. So I'll just bring this a little bit more towards orange and red. Make it really dark here. I don't want it to be too warm. So I think I'll actually bring it a little bit more toward pink And that should get me a decent earthy color. Yeah. And that's fine. I don't think I need any further shenanigans with that. So those will be the colors I use. And I think that should let me do everything. I'm going to use kind of a more natural rock pattern. So let's head down to the path. And I'll lock the layer. Where are you? You know, someday I will be able to find all these layers, man. Someday! I believe in myself. Alright. So I'm just gonna draw random rock shapes. You can't really see any of it. It's fine, don't worry about it. I kind of want them to be a little bit sharp. And I want them to, you know, be a little bit more man-made looking. So we'll be doing shapes like this. They're kind of hexagonal. And then here they're going to start getting very, very small as it recedes into the background. Just very, very small. So, I mean, you can see, it's a very tiny detail, right? I'm not going very hard on this. I will clean it up a little, just because I don't quite want to just leave it in this state. I think it's a little bit sad. But this is all I really want for this area here. Just a little bit of extra detail to really bring the rest out. And this is why I'm not putting the shading and stuff on different layers or anything. We're just gonna plop it here and all will be well. So as usual, I'm thinking about which areas are facing away from the sunlight and which areas we see, and that's how I'm going to shade it all. And I will put a little bit of light on some of these. But I think this gives a perfectly fine impression of a cute little cobblestone path. Alright. I'm gonna zoom in and clean it up and all that stuff now. So I kind of have the basics mapped in, and now I can actually do things like fix where the dirt's gonna be, spread it all out a little bit more and all that. I prefer working with hard brushes in general. And add a little bit of shadow just over here, wholesale. As like a cast shadow from the snow itself. Yes. Yes, that is good. So even though it's a small detail, I do think it's an important one. I think it makes it clear that this place is lived in. It tells a little bit more of the story of Pippa's happy mountain cabin. And this is exactly why I'm refusing to render this with the foreground layer turned off. The foreground layer must be on, because otherwise I will just spend far too long working on this. And I do want certain parts of it to look a little bit rough, probably have some cracks in it. I'm not going to skimp out on detail or anything, but, you know, like, look at it. Look at it. There's only so much I can do when most of it is hidden, so I don't want to overdo it. And more than that, I don't want to waste a bunch of time drawing something that is just going to be completely covered up. That's just sad. Okay. So I think that's good for that color, so I'll go ahead and start the brown parts. Start blending them in a little bit. Kind of want this to be a little bit cooler, I think, so I'm gonna kind of adjust the color there, but that's alright. Get a little bit of cracks and unevenness here. Kind of want to do that mostly with the dirt color as opposed to my shadow color. You know what? I actually don't like the dirt color, so I changed my mind. I'm just gonna use the shadow color for everything. The dirt is now shadow. And I think that'll be fine. It's just too warm. It's just too warm. This is, you know, although it's a very warm and happy scene, it is also winter. So it's still, the colors in it are very, very cold, except for a select few places. Mostly, you know, out where the sun hits the ground and all that. And I kind of want things to be a little bit more angular, going a little bit too round. A little bit too round. This area does not need to be cute, so I do not need to make it round. Okay, so I'll just kind of detail this to my heart's content. I do like doing this kind of thing. I think it's a good time, which is why I have to make sure I don't fixate on it too much, because I totally will if I allow it. I definitely will if I allow it. It's real easy to get just totally lost in little details like this. I don't think people give backgrounds and just little things enough credit. They can be very fun to draw if you will allow it. If it's actually something that you want to draw and you're not just putting in a background because your art teacher says you have to, and it'll be better for your art. Backgrounds are fun. Give it a try. It's a good time. Just think about the scene that will bring out the most in whatever character you're trying to show. Whether that be a cool castle or, you know, cute little deer building a snowman. Yeah, think about it a little. And it'll all help just a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna take this color and just add just a few little highlights in a couple of spots. No, not there. That's not a good spot. Here's a good spot, though. And they're gonna be just tiny, tiny lights. As you can see, I'm not really even blending them in at all. I'm just kind of letting them exist a little bit blurry. It's fine. Just enough to make it clear that this path is receding further into the back. Kind of breaking up the blocks a little bit, and I think that's perfect. I think I will add a little bit more shadow here. Just a little. Okay, there we go. And I think that's all that little path really needs. It's all just kind of hiding behind the trees. And I don't think it needs any more, so let's go ahead and render the snow. Let me see. There is one thing I want to do with the foreground off, and that's put shadows in the snow. And when I say I put shadows in the snow, I don't mean, like, getting very detailed with it. I mean, literally, I want the snow to be in shadow. It just needs to be the right color. I don't actually know which parts of the snow showed, so I just decided to hide the foreground, and, you know, it's all good. Okay. Yeah, there we go. But let's go ahead and finish rendering the snow. And then I think I can play with some colors in the snowman a little bit and start getting snow onto the animals. Stretch. Perfect. Okay. And yeah, I'll just get a little bit of snow onto the animals, and that'll be basically it for that mid-ground area. Then after that, you know, it's trees and mountains and easy things, and I knew the second I finished Pippa, I'd probably finish this in like 1 or 2 episodes. The focal point I invest like probably a good 80% of the time in. And I mean, you can see this background looks super detailed, but I spent like barely any time on it and it's already almost done. Backgrounds, not scary, I promise. They're great, and they will do so much if you think in terms of scenes instead of just, I don't know, drawing your OC. I mean, I just draw the OC sometimes too. Don't worry about it. If you don't want to add a background, don't. But sometimes it can help, and it can tell you a lot about your character. Scenes are fantastic. It has been very much a truth for me in that as I've been drawing longer, I have an overwhelming preference for scenes instead of just characters now. That wasn't always the case. Most of the time, early on, I would just draw the character. Like, that took a lot out of me. But, I don't know, I like just crafting entire worlds now. And I think it's great. I like taking you guys places. Just all these little places that exist in my head. I like being able to take people there. And I think it feels really good. This ear I want to plop in the snow a little bit harder. I'll just do it with the chalk brush. Okay, no, I gotta get the airbrush for this. I'm too used to the airbrush. We'll bring it back here. I'll get my base snow color, bring it back up there, and then I'll texturize the edges. I think that's a little bit easier for me right now. Maybe I can do it all in one go at some point, but, you know, I don't really feel the need to do things all in one go. I don't mind doing it in groups. I've been kind of enjoying doing my lighting separately, actually. Where I just kind of have a point where I worry about my proportions and composition and stuff, and then I have a point where I start worrying about lighting and whatnot, and now I have a point where I can start doing the colors and the lighting. And I think it's working for me, so I'm gonna keep doing it. I will. That's a bit too much snow there. That's probably some foreground snow. I don't like it. I made a mistake of turning off the layer in the blur area just to make sure it was the right layer and lagged everything again. Anyway, gotta just clear some of that. There we go. Snow must be snowy. Thus declares me. And like I said, I'm not gonna put a lot of texture on this. This is... up here is probably gonna get some. Everything back here, not so much. So I'll probably do it in a couple of passes. Where is my snow pile? There you are. So up here is going to get a little bit more texturized. So I'm putting a few light places and stuff in here. And just some stuff that I think will make things look very nice. Always gotta make things look very nice. And I'm pressing pretty lightly with this brush so that this way I get plenty of little textures. Nice things happening. Okay, so most of this is all just, you know, kind of hard to see. It's all kind of blocked out by the foreground, and you know what? That's fine. It can be like that. Okay, so now I'm going to start blending some of these colors together. I'll just lightly go over the edges there. And as things get further back, the texture will get less and less until it just kind of disappears entirely. I gotta be careful about picking colors near anything on top of that the foreground overlaps, though, because that could get dicey. And I do want to add just a few little mounds of very bright colors and whites and that kind of thing. But yeah, I can now see why I believed in this picture. I think it's looking good now. I think I'm quite happy with it now. And I just want to add a few little areas of little mounds of snow. I'm just going to do it with a bit of pink. Because I don't really want it to get too dark, so I'll do it with a bit of pink. Maybe I'll add just a tiny bit of shadow color in there, but it's not going to be a lot. I just kind of want a little bit of stuff making it clear that, you know, everything's going on into the background here. And it's easy to do that with just a little bit of, you know, like mounds and stuff. This way they can get closer and closer together and smaller as things go further and further back. And you can see I'm not even shading this at 100% here. I'm only at 50%. And I think that's fine for this part. I will check it at 100%, but I don't really feel the need to render it at 100%. That sounds like another good way for me to just get fixated on random things and take way longer than I need to. Alright, so I think something like that's probably good. Maybe a little bit more just like through here. I'll just kind of blend things together a little bit more. And the snow piles here are going to be pretty small because things aren't going that far into the background. Like, I mean, look at the bunny there. It's not going that far. Back here is where things are going to get real in terms of perspective. But I'm not drawing that part yet. I'm probably going to actually draw most of the trees first. And I promise I will draw at least one tree today, just so that my stream title is not a lie. So I'll probably get started on those soon. And I just want to get all the stuff here to my liking. I do think that this part is pretty important, so I will make sure it's all good. I can't use that color, I gotta use this one. Okay. Because there is a filter up there making it purple. So we'll rough this up a bit. And this area will get a lot more little texture going on. Because it is much closer to us than some of the other parts of the picture. So I can actually put little textures here and there. Make things very nice that way. And I'll put a few little mounds here and there just to kind of help blend the bunnies into. They will get their own texturizing a little bit later. But let's get this in there. And the snowman will get a little bit too. Kind of a dark shadow around here, I think. Bring some of it in, make the snow look nice and crunchy. And I think I want some lighter parts in there too. Again, you gotta make the snow look nice and crunchy. So that will be just, you know, light little textures here and there. Just here and there. Pressing very, very lightly on the brush for that. Because I don't really want to add too much color, just some, like, speckledness. Little bits of speckle. Okay, how's that looking? Okay, I kind of want to take some of it back, but you know what? Not yet, because I do want a few different kinds of texture. Up here, I think is doing what I want, so I'm probably not going to touch that much. I might blur it all a little bit, but probably not that much. And now I'm going to go back to that little spongy brush that I like and kind of put the little textures in here. I do think it's useful for just making things look a little bit more snowy. And this is why I didn't want to do stuff with the airbrush yet, because I knew that using this always adds way too much. It just does. So I gotta take it back a little bit, and if I already know I'm gonna be taking it back a little bit, then why would I do it before adding that? Like, I gotta do things one step at a time here. So I'll just kind of speckle things out through here. I don't really think I want to do it in the yellow areas. Just kind of through here. Add some lighter spots. Like that. And I think that's good. So now I can take the airbrush and just kind of lightly paint over things in a few spots. Oh, I don't... Oh, because you're an eraser right now. Okay. Just kind of take some of it back. Take some of the colors around here and just push it back just a little bit. Blend it all together just a little bit more. I don't want it to be overly texturized. It's fine. But it's okay. I just find that doing it a little bit too much is useful. Because then I have a lot of control over where I pull it back. And I can get it pretty much exactly right. See, just pulling it back a little. Not too much. I'm pressing very lightly still. And I do think slowly but surely everything will kind of come together. It'll just be perfect. Okay. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let me check it at 100. Okay, that's a little strong there. I'm gonna get the colors without the foreground because I get the feeling if I put the foreground in there, I would not get the right color. So let's blend these together just a little bit better. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so what I think is left is putting some snow on top of the animals. And I feel like the path here is a little bit sharp. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to go back to my path layer. I'm going to get my chalky brush and I'm going to turn it into an eraser and cut into the path a little bit. A little bit too hard. Just a little bit. I think this will make it look a little bit more organic. So maybe I didn't have to render it quite as hard as I did. Okay. There we go. That's a little better. And through here, how are you guys looking? Pretty good, I think. Okay. So I'm gonna go onto Pippa's shoe layer, and I'm just gonna draw directly on it because I am feeling bold today, and I think I can handle just plopping the snow colors on. Oh, you're an eraser right now. I don't want you to be an eraser. I want you to... Oh no, you weren't an eraser. Why aren't you coloring then? Why aren't you? Oh, okay, I think I see. It's, the light layer. Maybe I do want you to be an eraser then. Okay, yeah, I think so. So I'll just get some of this into the snow. I'll make some of it higher than others. You know, maybe instead of an eraser, I should just make it a mask then. Okay, let's do it. That'll be a little safer. And I am scared. So now I can make as many mistakes as I want and all will be well. Okay, and then I need another one on this part. Because I want the snow to kind of come up into this too. Huh. I see. Okay, okay, okay. Here we go. Basically, they're shenanigans. Don't worry about it. I have some things going on multiple layers, and... are things not on the layers I expect them to be? Okay, could I do that? You know what? I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna remove those masks I just put on. I'm gonna put the boot into a group. And I'm gonna see if I can put a transparency mask on a group. You know, I've never actually tried. I'm pretty sure I can. Yeah. And now I should be able to just get everything. Ah, I see. That's what's going on. Part of her body is hiding there, masquerading as a foot that I no longer need. So I'm just gonna go kill that. And now I should be able to go do what I want to do. Okay, so that's what was confusing me. Yeah, so I have a body layer underneath here that I used for the initial sketch, and then I just drew the shoes on top. And when I was erasing part of the shoes here, in order to make my nice little snowy texture, it was now showing that part of the body. And I just don't need it anymore. Okay. So I had to go in and erase it, so this way it would stop looking weird. Alright, there we go. I feel like her body is in there now, so now let's go do it for the animals. And I think I'm just gonna add a transparency mask again. That worked really well, so here we go. Let's get those ears in the snow. I have no idea if this is healthy for rabbits or not. But it's okay, like I said. This is a fantasy world. Where everything is happy. And we can pretend like there are no problems here at all. I want to get his little feet really in there. Let him roll around like you wouldn't believe. Okay, let's get all of that in there. I want a little bit of the foot to be kind of showing there, so I'll pull it out a little bit. And I can see that I will have to kind of go back over my initial snow layer in order to get all this working. But you know, that's okay. I can do that. Let his ears kind of get buried a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna do the same for the snowman. Oh yeah, the snowman's not there. Okay, I'll do the snowman after. You know, maybe I should put the transparency mask as part of the group here. Yeah. You know what, that probably makes more sense, actually. There we go, I'll do them together. And since I'm using a transparency mask and I'm just kind of cutting into things, I can fix the colors on the original snow layer and it'll be easy. I keep telling myself I gotta use transparency masks like this more often. And you know what? I'm correct. I do. Let me see. I think I still have a foot showing there. So where's her body layer? There we go. Alright, let's go get the animals on the other side. Okay. So we got this little hoof, and then we got this little fluffy bunny who needs to be sitting in snow. And we got this hoof. Okay. And now I can go and kind of correct some of the colors around here. Like, I think this should be a slightly different color and all that. I want to make it look like it's kind of piling up around them. So there's going to be a few more highlights and stuff. And it'll be great. Always very excited to draw it. So, let's go get some lights in there. Just where it's kind of piling up around the little animal's feet. Hello there, Kuhaku. Welcome back. And for this one, I will actually use a little bit of yellow specifically. And this one, a little bit of pink. Okay. So now I feel like everyone's in the snow. I think I gotta lessen the lights just a little bit. They're a little strong. Yeah, no worries. You know, as always, I think streams should be fun. So, you know, come when it suits ya. When you got time. No need to stress out. It's okay, I'm just drawing cute little animals in the snow. Alright. And a little bit more right around here. There we go. So yeah, I feel like they look like they're actually in the snow now. These guys I'm okay with not really sinking into the snowman. I figure the snow is packed pretty tightly so they can more sit on top. So I think that looks okay. But now the snow just looks so much more fluffy. Alright. So... there's a few things I could do, but you know what? I said I would draw a tree today in the stream title, so I'm gonna draw a tree today. I don't need my snow colors anymore, but I do need my tree colors. I will bring them out just so I can hide the swatch everywhere else. Okay. So let's see. Yeah, I don't think it'll take too long. I think I can probably do most of them. Strictly speaking, I feel like I should kind of correct the compositional things I don't like first. So, okay. Slight delay on tree. Don't worry about it. We're gonna take this color and I'm gonna fix the mountains. Okay, are my mountains? Is that you? Yeah, that's you. Okay. So basically, I plopped the mountains really low here, and I kind of like having that handoff there. I think it's really cute, but it kind of makes the mountains not really noticeable, and I want it to be clear that this is a cute little mountain valley, so I do feel like I kind of gotta have a little bit of mountain here. But fortunately, it worked out for me, because Pippa's hand ended up getting really, really, really light. Intentionally. I totally forgot how light I was planning on making that when I was deciding the composition here. And so this means that I can afford to have some darker colors right back behind it, and I can still keep a lot of the stuff and actually make sure that there's some mountains showing over here. So I get to just have everything I want, and it'll work out. Again, the power of being the artist. You can, if you try hard enough, you can make anything happen, and it is wonderful. So I'm gonna try to keep a little bit of the hat in that dark area, but I can now add a few little extra peaks through here. And, I don't know, make it look a little more mountainy. It'll be great. So I'm gonna scribble for a bit and figure out where these mountains should live. Because, you know, I'm not quite sure yet. I'm just trying some things. And then once I know the answers, I can render it out. And it should look pretty good. I was using it. This is some old art. It was a little stupid doodle, and I was using it as a reference for a bit of soft shading that I liked. So I drew that probably like 2 years ago or something. So I just wanted to reference that to figure out how to light this. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go look at pictures of mountains again and try to figure out the shape I want here. Okay, so the big reason that I'm here just trying to figure out what the mountains should look like is because the shape of the mountains will affect the shape of the trees and where I want to put trees. And that should not be underestimated, just how important it is to balance all of these elements together. So I don't feel like I can define the final location of the trees until I know the final location of the mountains, too. Yeah, it was indeed just a doodle. I think I did it in like 15 minutes. I can draw really, really fast as long as I'm not drawing a face. If I'm drawing somebody from the back, I can get things down and, you know, just kind of go. It's actually pretty fantastic. But the moment I want to draw anything specific, I slow down quite a lot. And I think that's pretty normal. When you're just derping around and making things happen. Yeah, I think I like that. I do. Add another smaller peak right there. A little lower. Little lower. Okay, there we go. And then just this little tiny valley between the peaks here. I think that should be fine, and I don't think it has to be perfectly triangular either. It'll probably be better if it's not, actually. Okay. Back to swatch, because I need to get the other layer of mountains too, because these guys are looking a bit funny now. I need to collapse Pippa again, because holy cow, scrolling through all these layers drives me nuts. Okay, where is my other mountains? Mountain snow, more snow, mountain. Okay. Here we are. So I can get, you know, even a little bit more darkness around Pippa's sleeve and really make it stand out. Okay, and I will just plop a few little shapes out there. Let's see, what do I want to do with you, actually? I'm not quite happy with that. So let's think about it just a little bit more. I do kind of like this, but I don't know, can I have that and also... No, I can't. Okay, so if I want that, I have to have that entire thing. And that's not gonna work. I do need to do something there, like, I don't know. Just some small foothills here. That's what's going on here. That's why I can't have it just cover that whole area. I need the difference here, because you don't really see it very much on these areas further back. And just having that, I think, will make things look, you know, much more layered. Like, these mountains are very far away. And I'm gonna move the sun a little bit, too, while I'm at it. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna smooth out some of the mountain stuff. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm gonna do the trees first. Okay. I was thinking about it, but then I realized, you know what? The trees are in front. They're gonna be covering part of the mountains once they're done. And... so I might as well just get the rest of these trees in first. It doesn't make sense to draw some of those other things just yet. Alright. So, I looked up some references of evergreen forests earlier, so that this way I would kind of know how to draw them without just getting into way too much detail, and I think I know exactly what to do. I don't think I need to change the shapes I have that much, actually. It's gonna be really easy. So first, let's get the colors. I'm actually pretty sure that these are not the right colors, but... because I changed them a lot, didn't I? I sure did. Okay. That's alright. I can grab the colors here. So you are about that color. Sounds good to me. Okay. And you can see that the color's not the same because I did put a little bit of lighting on it to test some compositional tests for compositional testing, and there we go. Now it's in the way, but it'll be fine. There's a reason I picked from closer to the middle. So I just kind of got to smooth out the edges here, and we should have some happy little trees. Let's see, how do I want to do this? I want the tree to get a little thicker at the bottom here. I'm gonna do it zoomed out for now and just try to... oh yeah, and I keep forgetting, an evergreen trees. The branches actually mostly point upward. I think these ones I can let them point down a little bit because they're gonna be kind of heavy with snowfall on them. So I think that'll pull them down, so I'll still kind of keep them a little bit downward, but I do want to keep in mind that they do kind of go up. And I should draw that bird. I really should. So I'm going to think about which branches are heavier than the others due to the snow. And then I'm going to have it gradually kind of get thicker as it goes down. So which of these are going to be thinner, which of these are going to be thicker, and all that good stuff. By the way, next year, it's like a... I probably will do more doodles like this next year, just because I can draw them real fast. But see, this is kind of what I mean, of the power of scenes. It's like there's no face in that drawing, it's all pretty messy and everything, but it has a certain atmosphere to it, so I think it still works. I still like that one, even, you know, a couple of years later. Even though I did draw it in like 15 minutes. Because I have too many other things to draw off stream until Christmas. I like to draw people I know pictures for Christmas. So I got lots of things I gotta draw. And next year is very shortly after Christmas. So there's no time to get started. No time, unfortunately. Got too many things I want to do. Life is hard. Hate opportunity cost. Why can't I just do all the things? Just paintings. Nothing in particular. I send it to him over the internet, so I don't print them out or anything. I just draw a nice picture. Some of them I upload as well, but not always. Depends on what it is. Okay, that's good for a start. Let's go get some of these other kind of mid-ground trees. And I'll kind of clean them up a little bit. Oh, you're locked. You can't be locked. I gotta clean you. These guys are a little bit hidden, but it's okay. They're still important. They are. Okay. I'm gonna hide my cabin for a little bit because I do think that finding the edge of this tree is actually pretty important. Because I'm gonna be putting some little light spots on it to separate it from the cabin tree. I'm just not doing it yet. Right now, I'm just kind of exploring the edges and see what kind of shapes I want here. So it's gonna be neater than what I have, but you know what? It's still gonna be a little bit messy. I doubt I'll be able to get very far in the trees here. In the time I have left. But I do kind of want to get things started. So this branch is going to be a little bit heavier, so some snow will have to go on it. That's why it's facing down. And I think a lot of the branches through here are also quite heavy. And I just want, you know, a little hint of a gap in between there. So this way, it's kind of clear where the tree starts and ends and that there's another little tree out there. It'll make the trees look a little bit more dense, even if we don't really think about it consciously. Okay, and then I think these guys are over here. Yeah. Alright. I can tell that I changed the size of them at some point because the colors are all wrong, but that's okay. I'll fix it later. Alright. Let's get those trees in there, and I want to show a little bit more of this mountain. So I'm actually gonna pull some of these branches back a little. This guy, maybe he's just a little balder. It's okay. He can be a little bit bald. Even bald trees are good. Okay, and then, you know, just carry it all down. All the way to the bottom. I still think I'm probably being a little bit too messy with some of these guys, but you know what? It's alright. I'll go over it again. I will probably have to do the trees in several passes, and that's pretty normal for me. Just because, I don't know, I don't like to spend a bunch of time finding the edge of every branch and stuff. I kind of like to just get the general gist of things, and then I can go through and clean it up and find areas that I think are, like, tangenting too hard or something, or just anything I don't like. It'll be fine. I don't know what this is. I'll have to find that, because that definitely cannot exist like that. I thought it was part of the trees. It is not. I tried to erase. So if it is part of the trees, it's part of the background trees. And not these mid-ground trees. Okay, that should be good for now. So now I can go into the background. Where are you, my background trees? There you are. I don't remember what color you guys are, so I guess I'll just pick one. You know, I do have, like, tree colors on my swatch, but it's like, none of them are the right color. Okay. I see. So they are the colors of the background trees. Or did I get shadows? I don't know, man. I don't remember what I did. My past self worked on this, like, 2 weeks ago or something, so I don't remember anything, man. We'll send one little tree kind of above here. And I'll try to get it to be a little bit more than squiggles this time. And I don't mind these trees being much closer together, filling in most of the gaps here. Okay, and then I see that there's some trees going on here. I think I want this one to be a little shorter than it currently is. Have the top be, like, right there. And let's see, these I think are also background trees, right? Man, what the heck happened to you guys? Oh yeah, because the cabin's off. Turn the cabin back on, so this way I know which trees I actually have to draw. I was like, it's not like me to leave it quite that messy. And it's like, oh yeah, there was something there. There was something there. Let's take a look here. Alright, gotta stretch. So trees are a little bit more tree-like. We need some snow. Let's get some snow in those trees. I'm gonna just put them into their group. So, group. And then I'm gonna plop some snow on them. Let's do it. Here's my snow swatch. Okay. Okay, here we go. I know this is the snow color, and I'm just gonna do it directly with the airbrush, and I'm still gonna keep things pretty loose. So we're gonna have, like, lots of snow up at the top here. I'm just gonna let it hang on the branches and kind of leave some implied branches in the middle like that. And, you know, eventually I'll clean all this up. It'll be great, I promise. Some branches will have more snow than others, but most of them will have a little bit. As I get lower down, there's probably going to be, like, less and less, and that's fine. And as I get lower down, I think it'll be mostly located on the edges, and some of them may not really get any entirely. Like, this one looks too weak to me to carry any snow, so I'm not going to put any there. Still, as, you know, as I was saying, bring a little bit from the other side. Okay. Let's get the mid-ground. Your mid-ground trees, right? Yep. Just naming the layers here. Always name your layers. Your future self will thank you so much. Can you imagine me scrolling through this many layers when they were things like paint layer 9? I would die. Alright, so I'll plop in some snow here. Just kind of feeling out where I feel like gravity will be taking all the snow. I'm not exactly sure where it'll go, but I think this looks okay, so, you know, it can't be too bad. And at some point, I'll light up all this snow, but you know what? I don't think it's important right now, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'll just leave it the default color for the time being, and I'll go back over it later. I just kind of want the gist of where I'm going with this. And this will kind of define how all of the branches on the tree are falling. So I don't want to go like straight across. That'll look terrible. Like this one's probably too straight, but I think it's fine. Right there, as long as I don't do it too often. And you know, next time I get the feeling I will be drawing most of these trees, and that's probably what I'm gonna be spending a lot of next time on. Although, you know what, trees are actually pretty fast, so it probably won't take that long, but there are a lot of trees, so who knows. And then the trees in the background, while there will technically be snow on them, I'm not going to explicitly draw the snow. They're just gonna be kind of dark. In fact, I think their color right now might be too light, a little bit too green, and I just kind of want the details to fade to nothing, because they are so far away that we will not see that. That will just not be seen. So you know what? Let's actually fix that, like, right now. Actually, no. I need to get the snow of the rest of the trees here. Man, I sure got lazy on my branches as I was going on. Oh well. It's fine. I can fix it later. I'm moving my hand back and forth really, really fast and not thinking too hard about it. That's actually a pretty good way to do it, of, let your brain go a little bit empty, but more seriously and probably more, implementable, I'm thinking about gravity and what branches could hold the weight of the snow, how they're gonna like fall down and all that, and how the snow will fall off if too much gets on. But, you know, going a little bit brain empty when you're trying to draw natural things is actually pretty useful. Because if you think too hard about it, it's going to look very man-made. But if you just kind of let your arm do all the work and, you know, trust in your arm's ideas, it can work pretty well. So this one I actually think is a little bit closer than the rest, so he's going to get a bit of snow. So that there's less snow up at the top because those branches are just too weak to handle it. And then it starts kind of cascading further down and kind of collects all at the bottom. Okay, and you know what? I think you are a little closer than the rest as well. And as always, when you're trying to draw things that look natural and not man-made, make sure you don't make any straight lines. Unless you're going for something very specific stylistically. I will always add that caveat. If you are making a deliberate choice, do whatever you want. But if you want it to look natural and not man-made, it's a good idea to avoid straight lines. In general. As a general principle. Good straight lines will make things look much more artificial. Plop a little bit of snow back here. Okay, and these ones, they're too far away for us to see the snow. So I'm not going to draw any snow on them. And let's see here. It's about time to go, so I have time for some quick things if I want. Yeah, you know what? I want to add a little bit more light and colors to the snowman. I think he could use a little bit more. Actually... Okay, no, I don't have to be... I don't have to do special stuff here. I can just add my layer here. I was making a group for a clipping mask, but I forgot that the snowman is actually the lowest part of the layer, so I don't have to do that. Anything I put here will not affect the animals. So I'm gonna go set that to hard light, and I am just gonna brush on some nice pinks and stuff. And we're just gonna make the snow here a little bit more colorful. It'll be great. It'll look so nice. Just because it's all, you know, out and white and fluffy, and white things reflect a lot of light. They reflect colors, so that they will often take on the colors of the things around them. But I just want to put a little bit more of the pinks and yellows and all the stuff in the sky here, especially near the bottom. Could add a lot of purple down there. I think that'll look great. I might even add a little bit more purple to the snow layer itself, actually. Humu. Let's see here. Man, so even at just like pure white, it does that, huh? Well, thank you very much. You're free to use it as one if you want. I mean, I'm not done yet, but I will post it all when it's all done. It's alright. You guys can do whatever you want with whatever images I post. I don't care. So, you know what? Go for it. Maybe short of commercial stuff. Like, ask me about that first. But for anything else, yeah, go for it, man. It's all good. Okay. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna add a little bit more color to the snow pile. Where are you, my snow pile? There you are. I want just a little bit more pink through here. I'm gonna be very gentle with it, though. And a little bit more purple kind of back here, where things get dark. Okay, that should be good. Just some little hints of it here and there. I'm just doing a quick check over, making sure that I like everything, and you know what? I think it's looking pretty good. So, yeah, I think that's where I'll leave it for today. Oh, jeez. I accidentally bumped the volume on my headphones, oh god. I nearly blew up my ears, holy cow. Okay. Fortunately, it's, you know, soft piano music. Oh, wait. No, that's no good. I was gonna say, okay, probably about time to be done for today, but no, I just saw that, snowflake there. No, cannot exist there. Not a good spot. Okay, so it's not the foreground. So that means it's gonna be here, right? Yes. No, that snowflake must die. Okay. Very gross. But now it's better. There we go. Okay, and now I feel like I can leave this. Alright, so let's see what's left. I still got several more animals to draw, and there still might be more. I'm not sure. We'll see how I feel about it once I've drawn the rest. I've got to put my atmospheric lighting on the trees, because it's still missing that. And I gotta render the rest of the trees. Gotta render that deer in the background. So I gotta draw some more birds and stuff. I have like drawn none of the birds. Still have to draw the cabin. Well, I mean, it's not done yet. It's not done yet. But yeah, I like this one a lot. Oh, you know what? I'll save the self-critique for later. I figure I could at least give myself a week after it's done to be happy with it. So and even though there might still be some things that I clean up here and there, like, I don't know, I'm still not happy with the light on the back of the snowman, for example. I guess I can go poke at that a little bit more, because it's easy to fix. All I gotta do, go in there with my airbrush eraser and kinda peel back some of this, and then I think I'll even go to the light layer and grab that texture brush I've been using, and the light color here, add a little bit more light stuff. Oh, that's way too much, huh? Okay, no, I can't do that. I can probably do it with the airbrush, though. Yeah, that's a little bit better. But yeah, there's still some small things like that. Oh, I'll probably be going back and doing corrections often until I finish the whole thing. But yeah, that's a little bit better. I don't know, it was a little bit dark. Oh yeah, no, I'm still pretty happy with how things are turning out. So let's see. I'm not sure if this bothers me or not. It's like it's a very small thing. You know what? I wonder if it would look better with just some low effort texture brush. Look, it's always nice when you can do the low effort stuff and make everything look better. So, you know what? Let's give it a try. No, that totally blew it out. Okay. I think it probably helped a little. Maybe. But yeah, I don't know, the rocks there feel a little bit smooth still, but frankly, I think it's fine for them to not be super special or anything. Just enough to make that nice, I think is fine. But yeah, I mean, there's generally a few small things that I end up correcting after each episode. But the fact that I did very, very little on Pippa herself today, like, I think I fixed her upper lip and part of her hair, and that was it. You know, it bodes well. But, I do tend to find a thing or two after not looking at things for a while. It's how it goes. That doesn't mean anything's bad, it just means that I tend to see just some small things here and there that bother me after I'm kind of out of the moment and I have rested for a bit. But, okay, I'll stop doing that, because otherwise I'll be here all day. But, yeah, the things that are left. So yeah, we still got a lot of stuff in the background, like this guy, we got the cabin, I still gotta render all that, and like some of the animals, like the birds especially. I think this is the only one that's like done. Did I make you fluffy? Yeah, I made you fluffy. Okay. Anyway, and I want to clean up the mountains a bit and add a little bit of their lighting. Like, I've got it started, where I got a little bit of light and dark spots going on here to make it a little bit more interesting and kind of divide things up that way. And that's all good. And yeah, then I got the clouds. But that's about it, really. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm able to finish this, if not next week, then the week after, almost certainly. How much time do I have to do this anyway? I'd like to be able to post it on Christmas. So that would be the Thursday. So, yeah, I should really try to finish it next week if I can. And maybe use the Monday of the 22nd, just so this way I have enough time to put together the time-lapse and everything without driving myself insane. Pipkin Pippa is a VTuber. She is very funny. So, Face Connect being a VTuber agency, I've drawn another VTuber in that agency. For the most part, I draw probably like 90% VTubers right now. Maybe I'll draw some other stuff at some point. You know, most likely. I am allowing myself, potentially, to draw some originals once I finish, or at least get, like, most of the way finished with the script for my comic idea. You know, so this way I know that odds are high it will actually exist. Because I'd feel bad if I drew some stuff for that on stream, and then I'm just like, nah, I don't want to write it anymore. It'd be very awkward. So, you know, once I know that it's gonna happen, you can bet I'll draw some original stuff here involving that. And, you know, if for whatever reason it doesn't happen, I'll probably still draw some original stuff just cuz. You know, why not? But I'd like to do that at some point too, but my slate for the next while is probably still gonna be mostly VTubers. Mostly. We'll see if I get the urge to draw some other stuff. I will allow myself to indulge my whimsy occasionally. But frankly, their designs are just so much fun to draw that I've liked just drawing them. It's a good time. They're very fun. Yeah, but I've already got some ideas, so, and what I want to be drawing afterward. I've been enjoying drawing the scenery, so you'll probably get a lot of scenery stuff. You know, maybe even to the point where I don't emphasize the figure like I have been. We'll see. We'll see what I feel like doing. Right now, I'm still just kind of doing whatever I want. Maybe sans for drawing comic stuff because they would make me feel bad if I didn't do anything with it. But it's okay. It also encourages me to write, so it's worth it. Anything to encourage me to write more. Heck yeah. But yes, I suppose this is where I will stop for today. I'm pretty happy with progress. I think it's looking really good. You know, as always, kind of debating some stuff here, like if I want to change a little bit with her hair color now that there's mountains there, or if I want to make the mountains lighter, so this way her hair fades more into the background. There's lots of little things like that I think about. It's all very silly, but I think it does make the picture better. That's why I call... At a certain point, learning art becomes black magic. I think it's true with all creativity. No wonder the Greeks, or the Romans, excuse me. I think the Greeks did it too, but the Romans is what I was thinking of. Said that creativity came from a magic genie. And that if your thing sucked, it's just like, man, your muse should have been better. How dare they suck? I get it now. But anyway, I suppose this is where I will stop for today. So, thank you all for coming. And I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I will see you all tomorrow. Why are my videos not working? Look, I unplugged my external hard drive for like 5 seconds. Stop complaining. I don't know how to refresh it. Let me find it again. Is it working? Dang nabbit. Oh well, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. I don't know why it's being weird. Why you gotta be like this, OBS? I thought we were friends. Oh well. I guess no picture for now. It's all good. I'll figure it out. Life is hard.